Understanding the differences between full-time and part-time employees is important for both employers and workers. Whether you're an employee wondering about your rights or an employer looking to stay compliant with the law, knowing how these categories differ can help avoid confusion. At Harman Law, we're here to break down the key distinctions between full-time and part-time employment. First, one of the biggest differences is the number of hours worked. While there's no federal law that strictly defines the number of hours that qualifies someone as full-time or part-time, many employers consider full-time to be 30 to 40 hours per week, while part-time employees typically work fewer than 30 hours a week. It's up to each employer to set these thresholds, but the Fair Labor Standards Act provides guidelines for fair wages and overtime. Next, let's talk about benefits. Full-time employees are generally more likely to be eligible for benefits such as health insurance, paid time off, and retirement plans. Under the Affordable Care Act, businesses with 50 or more full-time employees are required to provide health insurance to employees who work an average of 30 hours per week or more. Part-time employees, on the other hand, may not always receive the same benefits. However, some companies do offer benefits to part-time workers, so it's important to check with your employer about what's available. Job security is another factor. Full-time employees often have more stability and may enjoy more protection under employment policies, while part-time employees might work fewer hours and be more vulnerable to having their schedules or positions reduced. Part-time positions are sometimes considered temporary or seasonal, whereas full-time positions are usually seen as more permanent. When it comes to wages and overtime, both full-time and part-time employees are entitled to be paid at least the federal minimum wage. And if they work over 40 hours in a week, they're generally entitled to overtime pay. This applies to both full-time and part-time workers, but employers must track hours carefully to ensure they comply with wage and hour laws. Finally, there's the question of legal protections. Both full-time and part-time employees are protected by laws such as the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits workplace discrimination, and the Family and Medical Leave Act, which provides leave for eligible employees. However, part-time employees may not always qualify for FMLA or other benefits if they don't meet the minimum hours worked requirement. Full-time employees typically have broader access to these protections due to their consistent work schedules. Whether you're an employee or an employer, understanding the rights and responsibilities tied to full-time and part-time status is essential. At Harman Law, we can help you navigate any questions or legal issues you may face related to employment. If you're unsure about your rights as a full-time or part-time worker, or if you're an employer looking for guidance, we're here to help. Schedule a consultation to discuss the next steps in your case by calling 704-286-0947 or visit harmanlawnc.com.